Hi. Thanks for joining me today for Wisdom Wednesdays with Carrie Fox. And today is episode number 118, where we are going to talk about the 5 things that life has taught me. And of course, like everything else we do when we do these Wisdom Wednesdays, we're going to start with looking at my motto, which is that we can all live in harmony with the infinite wisdom that dreamed us into being. And if you don't know me, my name is Carrie Fox, and it's like one of my missions in life to be a constant reminder of your infinite wisdom connection. And that this connection is always available for you to guide you, to be with you, and also to remind you that everything I do at Harmony Enterprises and in a lot of other parts of my life is because you're thriving. Well, that's my passion. So let's get to today's our day's segment or episode today, again, number 118, which is about 5 things that life has taught me. We're going to start with number one. Without a doubt, the number one, the biggest thing that I have found out about life is honesty really is the best policy. So I like to kind of tell stories when I try to give somebody a truthism that I've learned. And without a doubt, the number one story for this one is at one time I was married to somebody who ended up to be almost completely opposite of me. I'm not sure what passion brought us together. That's a whole nother long story that may go into fate and destiny. But during the relationship, we started noticing that I was raised in a family where nobody raised their voice. Well, my sister and I did. The kids maybe did, but the parents never raised their voice. I never heard my parents argue. It turned out that they really did argue a lot and didn't have the best life, but they did that in quiet, in behind times. So we never heard anything about that. The noisiest thing in the house was the kids. Where my husband was born in a household where they yelled and they threw things and they argued and they confronted each other, and it was just so completely different than the life that I had been raised with and the kind of life that I wanted. So we started talking about it, and I started telling him that I don't want to live like that. I don't want to have somebody yelling at me. It just doesn't work for me. So we tried. We went to marriage counseling and all the rest of those things, but we did eventually split up. And during the time that we were split up and doing our divorce, we both met somebody else, and he met this woman that's an angel. And it's 47 years now, and they are still together. So here we had this moment of honesty. Our marriage wasn't going to work out. Let's break it up and love each other and care for each other, which made way for him to meet. I hate to say the love of his life because I don't quite believe those things. But anyway, for him to meet the woman that after 47 years together, they still hold hands. Now that's the result of people being honest with one another. Now, I do want to say something here about honesty, and that is I don't think you need to be honest, or at least for me, I'm not honest 100% of the time with 100% of the people on the planet Earth. My honesty is that I promise to be honest with anybody that I have a relationship with. If I have an intimate relationship with you, whether you're a relative or a friend or whatever, my promise to you is that I'm going to be honest with you. Well, this has come back to bite me a couple times. Once was I have 2 members of my family very, very close to me. And both of them, when I said to them, now that you're grown up now and we're having an adult relationship, I want to talk to you about honesty, because I can pledge to you that I will always be honest with you. And I'd really like to know if you could pledge that back to me. And 2 of my family members said, no, they couldn't. Now, the wonderful thing about that is honest of them to say that to me. So they are honest with me by telling me that they aren't going to be honest with me. And that helps. I know then when I get information from them that I might not be getting the whole truth. They might be holding something back and things like that. So honesty, it's wonderful. Another honesty story I have from, I think I was in my 20s. And I had a best friend who was, we were best friends. I'm going to say for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, maybe 10 years. I don't know. But one day she sat me down and she said, how do you do that? How do you be so honest with people? And I tried to explain to her, honesty is so easy. It is so easy. It's just coming from your heart, caring about someone, and being honest with them. So she decided she was going to give honesty a try. Well, what she did is she tried brutal honesty. She tried telling people what she thinks about them and what she thinks about the car they drive and the clothes they wear. She was very confrontational. So I had to kind of pull her back a couple weeks later and say, I don't think that's the kind of honesty you want to be. The kind of honesty that I try to do comes from love. It's a gift I give someone to be honest with them. So I have one more honesty story that's going to come along in just a moment. But before I do that, let's finish up with this number one honesty with a quote from Thomas Jefferson that I completely believe in. And he says, honesty is the first chapter of the book of wisdom. Right on. Okay, number two in the things I've learned in life is when life pulls the rug out from underneath you, don't stay down. So the honesty story continues here by somebody who wasn't honest with me. I had met a man that everything about our relationship was so wonderful. It was like we were in sync with one another. And he loved my honesty. And he told me how much he loved my honesty. And he told other people how amazing it was to meet a woman that was completely honest. And then we fell in love. We moved in with one another. He got a job offer in another state. We decided that I would move with him. So we moved together across country, and we lived this idyllic situation where we were 100% honest with one another, and it was beautiful. And we started having some rocky parts, and it turned out that he had some family business stuff that he had to work with, and I had some family stuff that I had to work with. So we decided that I was going to move back home to my original house that I had rented out to some people. And because he traveled for his job, he could take long weekends, 3-4 day weekends, several times a month, and we'd see each other for long weekends. And so that happened for, I don't know, several months, a year, 9 months, who knows? We talked on the phone every single day. He was there every weekend. We continued planning our future together, our life together. It was wonderful. It was adult, it was grown up, and it was honest. Until one day I was at the place I used to work, and it was somebody who knew us both and was a part of hearing how much he always bragged about our honesty. So she felt very free to say to me, how does Sue like Washington? So it took me aback. I had to leave. And all the way home, I was wondering if this was a rumor or if it was the truth. So when I got home, I decided, well, there's only one way to find out. So I called Sue's number because she lived in the same city that I moved back to. And I called, and it was like 10 o'clock at night. And she answered the phone, and I went, oh, Sue, I'm so sorry. This is so late at night, this phone call, but I just wanted to let you know that I'd heard this rumor and I didn't know if it was true or not. And I figured the only way to find out it was true was to call and ask you. And the voice on the other end of the phone said, who is this? So it turned out that this woman had had this number for more than 6 months, which meant that our friend Sue was out in Washington living with the man that was my future, who I talked to every single day, and I saw 3 weekends a month, and it was ruined. I fainted. I hit the floor. I was sprawled on my kitchen floor for I don't know how long before I woke up. And the next day, I called him, and we both cried on the phone, and he confessed to me that he couldn't tell me because he'd lose me. I'd walk away, and he was right, I would. So this honesty story and having the rug pulled out from underneath me was when I was betrayed by someone who honored my honesty, blew the wind out of my sails, challenged absolutely everything I believed in, and it broke me. I became one of the walking wounded women. I cried every single day for 2 years. I don't know what happened to those 2 years, but I'll tell you, I wasn't living. I don't know how I made it to work. I don't know how anything happened, except one day while I was with work people at a seminar that probably had 300 people in a room and a speaker up on stage. And this speaker was hilariously funny. The whole room was rolling on the floor laughing. And I realized that I was sitting there like a stump on a log. There was no smile on my face. There was no joy. I had no feeling of what was happening in this room. And that was my wake up call, that I realized that there was something wrong with me and that I had stayed broken for 2 years because of this betrayal. And that was one of the major traumas in my life. And I'm going to talk more about that in a little while. But I want to acknowledge that every single one of us has had some kind of trauma in our life, whether it's huge trauma or little traumas or in between traumas. Everybody has had trauma. So this saying from Michelle says, trauma creates change that you don't choose. But then healing is about creating change that you do choose. So from that day at that seminar, I poured my life into healing myself, from getting away from being a wounded woman, from being broken. And I read books and I attended seminars and I saw counselors and I worked on myself and worked on myself and worked on myself. And it was probably 2.5, maybe 3 years later before I was able to say, I'm laughing. And I realized that I had got my innocence back. So when you have the rug pulled out from under you, don't do what I did. Don't let it last 3 or 4 years that you're not living, that you have no lust for life, that you're not alive. You need to fight and fight to get your way back up. It's the reason I developed my signature program, which is called Get Your Mojo Back. It takes those years of me trying to learn, and it takes each one of the things that I learned and worked. And by the way, I helped other friends through it too and went, this is a system. You can do this in a much shorter time if you do this. And then you do this. And then you're healed more and you can do this. And then you're healed more, you can do that. So it became my signature program, Get Your Mojo Back. And right now I'm actually writing the book, Get Your Mojo Back also. So that's number 2. When life pulls the rug out from underneath you, don't stay down. Number 3 is happiness is an inside job. Now, I love this by Ayn Rand. Anybody who knows who Ayn Rand is, who said, learn to value yourself, which means you want to fight for your happiness. Now, one of the things that I do to help people fight for their happiness is I teach meditation classes, and I teach special meditation classes, especially to people who think they can't meditate, who think they can't get to that peaceful, quiet, calm, serene place because they've got these voices going on in their head. This internal dialogue just won't let go. And when you're in those kind of places, I teach the kind of meditation where you have to fight to silence that voice, and I teach people how to do that. I'm going to have to read this one, so bear with me here. This talks about be the person who breaks the cycle. If you were judged, then choose understanding. If you were rejected, then choose acceptance. If you were shamed, choose compassion. Be the person that you needed to be when you were hurting and not the person who hurt you, which is what happens if you are not deliberate about who you are. Vow to be better than what broke you and to heal instead of becoming bitter so that you can act from your heart and not your pain. Because when you're living in pain and fear and stress, that physically damages the cells of your body. So what are you doing to create calm and love in your life? Now, this is one of the things I'm doing. I know this is just a picture with no words on it, but guess what? This picture makes me happy every single time I see it. No words, just this white, shiny, smiling face with yellow, and I'm happy. I want to encourage you to find a song that makes you happy, a movie that makes you happy, a picture that makes you happy, a meme that makes you happy, and make sure it's in front of you often. Put it on the wall. Put it on your kitchen cabinet. So every time you go in your kitchen, you see it. Be deliberate about your happiness. Okay? Number 4, Get this through your head. You are not responsible for other people's happiness. Now, I don't know where it came into our existence that we had to try to make people happy, but I want to tell you, you don't have that power. You can no more make somebody happy than you could make somebody an elephant. Really, it's the same thing. Now, you can choose to be truthful to them. You can give them the gift of truth. That's something nice you can do for them, but you're not making them happy. They get to choose how they respond to that. You can choose to not betray them, to allow them to trust you, to know that you're trustworthy. That's a gift you give them, but you're not making them happy. They choose how they respond to it and how they handle every single thing in their life. So what I want to say to people who find themselves trying to find someone to make them happy is this. Waiting for someone else to make you happy is the best way to be sad. Okay, here we are. Number 5, take time for yourself. This is so important. We live in a hectic world. Everybody is busy. At least half of my friends say on a regular basis, I don't have enough time to do this or that. And it's almost always something they want, something that they love to do that they're not making time for. So take time for yourself every single day. Please, 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 please. Something that gives you joy. I told you I do a lot of meditation. I talk to a lot of people about meditation, and we meditate to get good at life, not to get good at meditation. Because when you connect to that place where you get rid of all the noise and all the frustrations and all the fear, is where you find yourself and where you find your joy. So whether you meditate for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or look at a picture and smile. I've gone through times when I've meditated a half an hour every day. I've gone through times where I've meditated 2 hours every day. And I went through times I could only squeeze in a quick 10 or 15 minute meditation. But you want to do it. You want to take time for yourself. No matter how you can do it, autumn's coming up. Do something that makes you happy. So make a pumpkin pie, decorate pumpkins, do something. But to live a better life, you need to make time for yourself every single day. Take that Pilates class or that art class. Go for a walk in the woods. Whatever you need to do, put it in your schedule. Schedule it to remind yourself every single day. Take care of you. It's your job to take care of you. Plan a personal day. Take a vacation. Just take a day off and do nothing. Cook. Give yourself a facial and your hair a facial and shave your legs and have a spa day all by yourself. You just need to take that time for you to relax, for you to refresh yourself, and for you to recharge. It's the only way to have any kind of a work-life balance situation. Yes, you have work, family, friends, and self. Make sure self is in there. Self-care. So even if it's just for 1 minute, where you walk outside and just stand there in silence and look up at the sky and contemplate how amazing your life really is. Or you can see that self-care might mean just giving yourself permission to stop and pause. The art of the pause is a big thing right now. That when you hear the noise, stop. 10 seconds. Give yourself a pause. Take a moment to appreciate how awesome you really are. So that you feel like this inside. And that you won't let anyone else take your peace away today. So really, I want you to think about this as your homework today. What do you do when you need a timeout? Can you close your eyes? Can you fall in love and then stay there for as long as you can? Can you sometimes know that it's okay if the only thing that you did today that was selfish for yourself was just breathe? And you know I'm a fanatic about meditation, so I created this meme and I like it a lot. Meditation, it's better than sitting around doing nothing. And listen, when you take good care of yourself, things can happen. Like in 6 months, you can be in an entirely different space. You can be mentally, financially, and spiritually thriving more than you are now. It's all about perspective so that you can shine and glow so brightly that you can change the energy of an entire room just by walking into it because you are living in harmony with the infinite wisdom that dreamed you into being. So that's it for what we talked about today. We talked about honesty is the best policy. We talked about when life pulls the rug out from underneath you, don't stay down. We talked about you being willing to fight for your happiness. We talked about the fact that you are not responsible for anybody else's happiness and how important it is to take time for yourself. All of these things that I've learned in life and others is why I do what I do. It's why I've put together so many programs and challenges and 5-day workshops. It's why I do these Wisdom Wednesdays that get put on YouTube at Harmony Enterprises with Carrie Laughing Fox. It's because I want you to be happy and that you're thriving is my passion. So I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope I've inspired you a little bit. I hope you've learned something new from me. You can always comment on these videos, whether if you find them on a Facebook page or if you find them on YouTube. You can always let me know if there's some question you have or some issue you want me to address. I'd be glad to do that for you. You can always send me an email at carrie.fox@harmonyenterprises.net, and I'll get back to you. Maybe it's a suggestion for one of these sessions. Who knows? Get a hold of me. I'd be glad to help. Now, it's your job right now today to go out and live your grand adventure and think about what life has taught you. That's it for me for now. Thanks for attending today, and please, namaste.